obviously it's great to know where your athletes are at on a physical level. And this table was put together then as a means for them to identify where they're currently at and ultimately where they need to be for the Olympics in 2012. The data here is collected, it's normative data of elite female athletes globally from a multiple of sports. But this was put together, and then they were able to then get a clear idea. Along the top there, you've got our physical performance tests that we would do early season, mid-season, end of season. And the red obviously, well, the colors represent different physical levels. Blue being the ultimate, red being not so great. And in October, when I first did the testing with the girls, 62% of all their physical qualities were being scored in the red section of that table. After 3 years, we had a significant shift so that 70% of all their physical performance tests were being collected in the red and green there. So that's just a little table to demonstrate that. With regards to the aerobic conditioning, I've got 4 different areas here, but these are the tests again. What I've tried to do is just simply show you the kind of contrast from October 2009 to just pre-Olympics. So the top left there is our aerobic test. We do the 30-15. Basically, the higher score you get, that's better. And the outcome measure that you get is kilometers per hour. So you can see here in October 2009, on the left here, you've got the number of players that achieve that level. And you can see, hopefully, that there's a significant change in the aerobic ability of the group in those 3 years. On the right, I've got the anaerobic shuttle. So that was a repeat sprint test, 6 times 40 meters, 20-meter shuttle. And again, I've just got along the bottom, you've got every sprint and the time they were able to secure on those sprints. So you've got March, which was the first time I actually put this test into place, and then the changes that occurred just before the Olympics there in June. Strength tests are kind of self-explanatory. I've got some absolute scores, some relative scores to body weight, and you can kind of see the changes that occurred there with the group. And again, speed. This time it's a slightly different graph, so what you're seeing is the bar element of that graph represents 5 meters time for the group average, and the line graph is the 10-meter time. And again, you can hopefully see that from October to now there's been a clear trend in where the athlete group and their speed qualities have gone. Now that's all very well, kind of me telling you that physically they got better, but what's kind of important is what was the change with regards to their performance impact. And what I have here is a table that illustrates some GPS data for the same group in the Beijing year, where they finished 6th, and the same group in 2012. And if I just point out some kind of key simple ones, we've got the average distance a player would cover in a game. Beijing year, they were doing 5.5 kilometers per game, and currently we're on an average at 6.6 kilometers. That's a significant shift. That's all very well, but we all know that success in field-based sport is highly determined by the team that can repeat more high-intensity actions. So if we look at the faster running sprinting percentage, Beijing year we got a total of 6.5% of the time performing the high-intensity actions, whereas now we're getting scores up in 19% if we had to add those two together. So I thought that was quite interesting. I took it a little bit further. I then looked at our group as a whole, and I took the group, the athletes who scored 20.5 and above in our aerobic fitness test, and I took the players that scored 20 and below. So these two tables here. And although the distance covered is pretty much the same, the more significant marker here is the fact that those that are fitter aerobically actually spend a greater deal of time in performing higher intensity actions. I then looked at the under 21 group, and again their fitness score, so their average score on the 30-15 here is 19, and not surprisingly they don't go as far, but also the percentage time of performing high intensity actions is less as well.